In this lesson, we're going to compare and order a mix of fraction, decimals, and percents. So it doesn't matter which way you use as long as you pick the way that you're most comfortable with. You cannot compare, for example, a fraction and a decimal. You compare a fraction and a fraction, or a decimal and decimal, or a percent and a percent, whichever way you're most comfortable with changing it to. I like changing mine to decimals, but I'll show a couple of ways in this first one. So when I want to compare 2/3 and 6/10 using greater than, less than, or equal to, I would change them both to decimals. 2/3 is 0.6 repeating, so I'm going to add a few sixes and put 6/10 underneath of that. Fill in the spots with zeros, and I know that 666 is greater than 600. I could also change them both to fractions. 2/3 is already a fraction. 6/10, 6/10. And you can find a common denominator, in this case 30. So times 10 times 10, and that's going to be 20, times 3 times 3, that's going to be 18. So again, 20/30 is greater than 18/30. A lot of people also like to change them to percents. So as a percent, you multiply this by 100, 66.6%, and this would be 60%. 66% is greater than 60%. We're going to do the same thing here, 42% and 0.44. It might be easier for me on this one to change them both to percents because that one is already a percent. So I multiply this one by 100, and I get 44%. I know that 42% is less than 44%. We'll do the same thing when ordering them, whichever is easier for you. So I might change them all to percents this time. 5/8 is a decimal, is 0.625. And as a percent, when I multiply it by 100, 62.5%. When I multiply 5/10 by 100, I get 50%. And this is already a percent at 58.3%. From there, I just order it. Looks like my smallest one is 5/10, so I put that first. The next smallest is 58.3%. And finally, 5/8.